Well, good morning, guys and girls. Today is the day we're gonna actually do some work on the Hummer. First, let me explain why it took me so long to even do any kind of work on the Hummer. My other vehicle broke down a while back, and I was using this thing to take my little one to and back from school. I am working on purchasing another vehicle, a family car. In the meantime, that doesn't mean we can't do any work on the Hummer, because I am planning on doing a bunch of upgrades to it. I'll go through all of them with you later, but since we're waiting, let's do all the upgrades until I do the other purchase. Then we start the actual conversion, hacking of the roof and whatnot. So let's just get into it. By the way, I did do some minor upgrades off camera. I'm gonna show them to you right now before we go any further. First of all, I don't know if you guys remember from a previous video, this thing used to have a roof rack. I did remove that for obvious reasons. After this thing is gonna be cut, there won't be enough roof for it, and weight reduction, I guess. I am going to be concentrating on a few points: weight reduction, improving the gas mileage, and drivability. Like, this will be a daily driver, so I want to keep the weight down as much as possible, and obviously upgrade as many parts on this thing as I can, because it's a very old car. So we want this thing to last as long as possible. I did place an order for bigger tires, not wheels. As I mentioned before, I'm going for that OEM look. I want to try to make this thing look like it rolled off the Hummer assembly line. So keeping the 16s first because of weight. I don't want to increase the weight. And second, because I'm going for that military Humvee or H1 look with a tiny rim and a very big beefy tire. With the Hummer H3, if you want to go with bigger tires, well, without the use of a lift kit, the biggest size you can do is 305s, not 35s. I've seen a lot of guys online or like in different places stuff 35s on this thing, and they'll have like crazy rubbing issues. Gas mileage goes way down, drivability is horrible. It looks awesome, but it's not doable, at least in my opinion. So the next best thing would be a 305s, because 305 is like that sweet spot between the 33s and the 35s. But be aware, if you're a Hummer owner, the Hummer comes slightly slanted. Like in the front, it's lower than the back from factory. So even the 35s are gonna rub in the front if you don't do something about it. But I do have a little trick I learned that applies only to the H3. I'm gonna share it with you when the actual tires arrive. For now, I have a lot of boxes I received in the mail. All will be going on the Hummer, so it's a long list. I have a little bit of time today, so I'm gonna start throwing stuff at this thing. It is gonna change quite a bit, even before the conversion. By the way, I was saying, I removed the roof rack, and I did remove the front grill guard or bumper guard, whatever you want to call it. It used to be right there, black, if you remember. Again, weight reduction, and it doesn't fit the look I'm going for. Obviously this thing will be converted into a pickup truck later on. I'm not into bull guards. Some of you might agree, some would think, like, why you didn't keep it? It looks nice. I don't know, I like it this way better. So we do have a crack here in the actual grill, plastic grill. I'm not gonna even bother fixing that, repainting, or doing anything to it right now, because this whole thing is gonna be replaced with a matte black brand new grill. I don't know if you noticed, I did change the turn signal lights. These are brand new ones, LEDs. I did upgrade the side markers, and these are LEDs. Let me actually show you. These look really sweet. Hold on. So it's daytime and they're pretty bright. So imagine how they look at night. And these are the turn signal lights. I am gonna be upgrading the headlights, obviously. Replacing the headlight by itself, like these are 7 inches, basically the same size that goes on most of the Jeep Wranglers, if not all. But mounting it to this plastic plate that goes on the back, is close to impossible without any kind of like conversion or fabricating or some kind of bracket. A few companies back in the day that used to do that, but obviously the Hummer company doesn't exist anymore, so aftermarket companies have no interest in like making stuff for these cars anymore. But there was this one company, I'm going to try to link the description down below if you're interested. They restarted making these specific brackets that are made only for the Hummer H3, and they're made to order. So I did purchase a couple of brackets. They're CNC machined, very tough, very heavy duty. I had to wait like almost a month for them, but I believe it's worth the wait, because with those brackets I'm going to be able to mount a 7-inch LED, any 7-inch LED headlights on this thing, and keep the factory adjusting option for the headlights, like aligning the headlights up and down. Let me see. Oh yeah, the little things. I did replace the long ugly antenna thing with a shorty. This thing is broken, we have to replace it. I don't want any chrome on this car. We're gonna be debadging it, no badges whatsoever. And this cover will be gone because of the chrome, and because I need to expose the spare tire, because I am going to be installing a rear view camera that goes behind the spare wheel. Actually, let me show you. It's not made for the Hummer, it's made for the Jeep's Wrangler, but I am going to do some adjusting to make it fit this bolt pattern right there. We have one on my Jeep. It is right there. It goes behind the wheel, and it's dead center. So enough talking, let's start putting some parts on, and I'll give you some more information as we go. I'm gonna start off with the easy, like simple stuff. We're gonna be upgrading the tail lights. We're gonna be installing these guys here. I believe these are LEDs blacked out to go with the theme. Installation is pretty straightforward, just a couple of screws here. On the other side, unplug, plug and play. So let's do that real quick and see how it looks. There you go. Okay, next, let me show you. I have a very neat thing. It's actually this product right here. I don't know if I'm gonna do this with my hand. There we go. So these are the hood vent handles that usually you see on the Humvee or the H2 Hummers, and I did get the matte black one. And these are actually billet alloy, so they're gonna take a beating. They're not plastic. So the idea here is to install them right there. Obviously these are just for looks. So on the original Hummers, these came in this form. I'm still deciding if I'm gonna do the OEM look, or I don't know. I think this looks slightly more aggressive. What do you guys think? Here, let me put it on this side so give you guys a better look. Let's do the other one for the full effect. Here we go. Okay. So it's either gonna be this way or I honestly like them the other way around, but since I'm going with the OEM theme, I'm just gonna stick to the factory look and install them this way. I can flip them anytime I want, but for now I'm just gonna leave them like that. I don't know if you guys notice, these do not sit flush. They do sit flush on the back, in the back side, but on the front they do not sit flush. But I do have a solution for that. I'm gonna like cut some kind of like black rubber bushing, install it under this to close the gap. After I figure out the thread size for the screws that go here, do some measuring, make the holes, install these bad boys. Let me show you a cool trick. Instead of trial and error, so you can transfer this measurement over here to your actual workplace. Got some masking tape. I think that's about enough. Make sure there's no wrinkles on it. Okay. Now okay, so you only get one shot at this, otherwise you're gonna mess up your hood. I just need to make sure the top hole is dead center and match it on the other side. This will follow on the other side as well. So let me do some measurements, make the holes, and do the installation. Okay, so next is gonna be replacing this nonsense right there. This is gonna be a can of worms because obviously it was poorly installed, no dash kit, and previous owner had some LED lighting installed. You can see wires everywhere. I don't know if you can, I can show you that. There's like LED strips everywhere. I have no idea where he got the power source from, so I'm guessing there was a lot of slicing and dicing back there. So I'm not gonna shoot this because usually this gets me so frustrated and it's gonna take me a while to figure everything out. So I'm just gonna show you the after finished product after I deal with all this. Good morning, everyone. It is the next day, and as expected, this thing took me like forever to sort out. As soon as I removed the old unit, I discovered a nightmare behind the dash. All sorts of like splicing and wrong connections. It took me around like 2 to 3 hours to get everything back to factory condition wiring wise. Then I did the installation. As you can see, hold on, let me give you a closer look. So this is an 11-inch head unit. It has all the goodies. It's a touch screen, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Bluetooth. I did do the connection here. It's ready. I just need to take it all the way to the rear to connect a backup camera. Here, let me give you a look at the display. A few reasons I picked this Boss Elite unit was, first of all, size, Apple CarPlay obviously,
the need of a rear view camera for safety reasons, and most important in my opinion, the location of the head unit in a H3 is way down, like very low. This requires you taking your eyes off the road and looking down most of the time. But with this unit, it's actually a single din. Hold on, let me give you a closer look. There's a storage space down here, probably for your cell phone. And the head unit itself, it's located way at the top of the opening, and it does have the option of sliding up and down. So I positioned this all the way up to get it as close as possible to the field of vision, and it does have the option of adjusting the view angle up and down and left and right. I do like the fact that the volume and mute button is an actual analog button, not one of those touch controls. I hate that so much, especially for the volume. And yeah, that's about it. So the next thing, obviously we're not going to leave this dash as is. See, almost everything here you see is going to be taken care of after we're done with the... To finish up this video, I'm going to be upgrading the headlights as well. I'm not going to actually show you the process. It's pretty boring. I've seen like hundreds of videos on changing headlights on Hummers before, so I'm just going to show you the before and after. So these are the brackets I was talking about, by laced metal, CNC machined, and they do come with a hardware plus a black metal trim that goes on top of the 7-inch headlights to keep them in place. So let's take out the old headlights and I'll show you where these go. So these are side specific. This one is passenger side, as you can see. So these will go right there, and the headlight on top of them. Okay, so this is the way they're supposed to be. These are the 3rd generation brackets, so they're kind of different. Be aware you are gonna have to reuse your factory clips, take them off the original headlights and install them right there with the included screws. Now the 7-inch headlight goes on top of this, then the face ring that keeps everything in place. Okay, next up is going to be getting rid of this spare wheel cover. As I mentioned before, I have to expose the spare wheel because the backup camera is going to go behind the spare wheel. And hey, more weight reduction, I guess. So it's a win-win. Obviously this wheel is going to be refinished in semi-gloss black to match all the rest of the wheels. So it is the next day. Let me show you what I have done so far. As you can see, LED headlights installed. Also the fog lights are installed, LEDs as well. Let me tell you, this was a bit complicated. The wiring is it's kind of time consuming. You have a lot of things to figure out. Fog lights, I just got the basic LEDs without the halos. I wanted to keep the wiring as basic as possible. This way in the future maintenance is not going to be a pain. Also, I did refinish the spare wheel, satin black, to match the rest of the wheels after I installed the backup camera right there. Don't worry about any imperfections in the paint because the whole thing is gonna be wrapped when it's all said and done. So that's all I'm gonna include in this video, and we'll leave the rest because it's a big long list. There's a lot of work to be done. So for now I think I accomplished enough